whether the video is good or bad. This is the first time I've tried it, even though I've had it a whole week, and yet I haven't used it because I've been waiting, anticipating. It seems to be sort of very widescreen. I don't know whether that's extra widescreen. I'm just looking at this going, ooh, that's weird. And also, my eyes are going very strange and blurry. I can't see very much close up or far away, and I think they've broken. But that's fine. Everything's good. Are you there? Can I see you? Do I need to switch on chat, top chat, live chat, all messages are visible? Yes, there, I've put it on. I didn't have it, so I had no idea if anyone was here. Not that there is anyone here. By the look of it, there's 0 people. Zero, that's 2 zeros. 2 zeros is still 0. 0 times 0 is still 0. Maths. See, I'm getting good at maths. I can do fractions and everything. Didn't used to be able to do, and times tables. Oh, it's a long time catching up. I think I missed a lot of stuff at school, but now I'm learning because you have to. Not sure about that really, but you know, it's all good, isn't it? So this is my new video, and I'm very achy today. I'm just like, this is just so achy. My shoulders are aching, my legs just horribly still aching, and my foot's still hurting, but not as bad as it was. So everyone's like, oh, you should have gone to the doctors, but I didn't. So that's all I've got to say about that. But it's better. I think it might be still dislocated or something, but you know, it is what it is. And there's nobody here still, even though it's been 1 minute and 49. That's a record. Usually I get somebody by now, but obviously not. I look very pale, like a big moon face, don't I? I don't know how long I can keep this up, seeing as there's nobody to interact with and nothing to do and nothing to see. I'm just going to amuse myself with my guitar that's probably out of tune, and I still just haven't got a plectrum. Maybe I can use a pick. Hello, one person. A pick from a clay pick. I wonder if that works. I don't know. Clay pick. That is not how you play guitar, but never mind, it's how I'm playing it now. I don't know whether that's gonna break the strings. Hello, one person like Thomas, you're the one person that's here, and one person is better than nobody, even though you are the only person here. That's good because you are watching me, and I'm not watching you because I can't see you, and it's only one way because that's how YouTube works. You can't see the other people there, and if you could, that would be creepy because they'd all be staring at you, and you wouldn't be able to do anything at all. Anyway, how are you, Mike Thomas? I don't know what's going on anymore. I'm very cold. Oh, I've just noticed a herbal tea on the floor. What is it? A herbal tea. Probably the best. Probably the best person. Yes, exactly. So a herbal tea on the floor. Tulsi clarity. That's basil. Holy basil it is. Sacred blend. Flowering with vibrant clarity. I know. I read about basil when I got those, and basil, and you're not really supposed to drink, but it's holy basil, you're supposed to leave it. I can't do herbal teas. I can't do this one because I know the reason that I haven't drunk this is when I did try to drink the holy basil, which you're not supposed to touch. I think it's in Buddhism or something. Don't touch it, it's sacred. It's a sacred herb. And I tried it, and I think I almost lost consciousness. I think I got very low blood pressure from it, so probably not for me either. Basil tea is not for me. No, basil tea is not for you. Basil tea is not for me. Basil tea is not for anyone. Tulsi tea. Tulsi. Anyway, I've just watched Strictly Come Dancing, and before that I watched Doctor Who. Who-woody-doo. That's interesting. I'm enjoying this series, actually. I enjoyed all of them, but I think I'm enjoying this mini-series more than all of them. And I watched Doctor Sleep earlier on, which is, it's the director's cut. The director's cut of Doctor Sleep, which is the sequel to The Shining. It's like a mini-series. It's 3 hours. 3 hours of just sort of wandering around going, la, 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 la. People have got some shiny things. That's not what shining is. Shining! They're shining. And then the end. Yes, I do love Doctor Sleep. It's very good. But I watched the director's cut, which is a lot longer. I think it's almost an hour longer. Maybe not an hour longer. It's a lot longer. It might not be an hour longer. It's at least half an hour longer. And I did watch about half an hour of the other version before I realised that it was I just stopped it, and then I said to my flatmate, do you want to watch Doctor Sleep? Or I was watching, I can't remember how it came to be, that he pointed out there's a director's cut, so I watched that. The flying scene, oh, the flying scene, yes, the flying scene, I know what you mean, the astral projection, is that what you mean? I'm walking in the air, that's what she was doing. Oh, Rose, walking in the air like a snowman. That's what she was doing. That's definitely. I'm just wondering whether the snowman is, whether that would fit in quite nicely. Actually, yes. There are three. There are 3 flying scenes. Are there? I don't know. I can't remember any others. There's some sort of falling about scenes, and there's some dancing on the ceiling and turning things around scenes. There's all sorts of stuff. The famous Fred Astaire thing where he dances up the wall. They could do that. That's very much what they did, in a way. It's very dark. Is this very dark in here? Have I got this? I'm not sure, because this is my new camera and I don't know, on the phone. I don't know what's up. 3 watches. 3 watches? What? Okay, I think I'm confused. Now, 3 watches, like watches in the woods, 3 watches. 3 watches? I don't know what that means. I've only just seen it and I'm like, what the? 3 watches. Are you what? Okay, I think that might be some sort of thing that I've missed. 3 watchers watching me. Here. Oh, I see what you mean. I was confused. That was spooky. I thought you were talking about Doctor Sleep. I thought there were 3 watchers in Doctor Sleep for a second, and then I thought when you said there are 3 watchers watching me, that you meant that they were here watching me like ghosties, and there was some sort of shining going on here, shining, and you could see them, and that you were shining bright like a diamond, Mike, and that you could see Scatman Crothers, except he's not Scatman Crothers playing it in that. It's somebody else. I can't remember who, but Carl Lumbey playing Scatman Crothers, playing whoever that character is. Yes, sorry for the fright. That's all right. I'm just like spooked. Wondering what's going on. Yeah. So yeah, Scatman Crothers is not in it because Scatman Crothers is no longer with us. But Carl Lumbey, that's a great name. Carl Lumbey. Scatman Crothers is a good name, but Carl Lumbey is also a good name in a different way. Anyway, yeah, and lots of and Henry Thomas playing Jack Nicholson. Henry Thomas, and I said, oh, it's Henry Thomas, and my flatmate said, who's Henry Thomas? I went, Elliot from E.T., don't you recognise him? And he's like, no. So yeah, Elliot from E.T. is in it. Elliot, hello Philip. Elliot. Oh no, that was horrible. And also, apparently the director's cut is a longer version of that, Mike. So it's even worse. I didn't get as far as that when I started watching it the first time. That wasn't the director's cut. I did not watch as far as that bit. So no, it's just like, no, horrible. This is nasty. But it's a good film. Yes, I'm very fond of The Shining. I've seen The Shining multiple times, and I've also seen, where you play the beginning and the end, and you watch them both at the same time, and they sort of merge into. I've done that. I've watched that, and I've also watched the documentary. Was it Room 237? I've seen that. I've seen quite a lot. No, I've seen quite a lot of The Shining, even though I know Stephen King really did not like the film version. Stanley Kubrick, I think, is a good filmmaker, even though I've heard terrible things about how horribly he behaved towards people and how he terrorized Shelley Duvall. Poor Shelley Duvall. He was probably not a good person in any way, shape or form, but he is a good director, and it's very difficult to just, the artistry and the horribleness of a person. You have to sometimes separate it. Should you? I don't know. Once they're gone, doesn't matter. It's like, doesn't matter. Death of the artist. It's like, who cares what you were like? It's a good film. But then again, you're just thinking morally ambiguous there, possibly. But it is. I do like The Shining, and so, you know, what can you say? I know it's not true to the book. I think I read the book a long time ago. I have not read the book of Dr. Sleep. I used to read a lot of Stephen King books, and I know he sort of peters out towards the end. A lot of the, and especially the adaptations of Stephen King books, they're hit and miss. Stand By Me, probably one of the best adaptations of a Stephen King book. There's a lot of very, very ropey adaptations of Stephen King books, and I don't know how many that he thinks are good, but not all of them, let's be honest. And there's been some very, you know, you start really well and then you go, what the books end better than the TV and the film adaptations, but I think Stephen King definitely has a little bit of a problem. I should probably not be so critical. Bit of a problem with endings, not as good as the beginnings. The beginnings, wow, the middles, oh, the ends, yeah. Anyway, and even when he was writing as Richard Bachman, he's not Welsh, he's not German, Bachman, it's thinner. Have you read that? That's quite a thin book. It is a thin book. Thinner's a good book. I think, did they make an adaptation of that? I don't know. Anyway, it's Stephen King, but it's not in the same way that J.K. Rowling wrote as Robert Galbraith, was it? And Robert Galbraith is still J.K. Rowling. In the same way as, is it P.D. James? No, what I'm thinking. Ruth Rendell also writes as Barbara Vine. That's it. She did. I don't know whether she did. Barbara Vine. See, Ruth Rendell. I never read a Ruth Rendell book under the name Ruth Rendell, but I'm a big fan of Barbara Vine. Even though it's the same person, Barbara Vine writes better. Interesting. There's a lot of people that write under different names. Yow. Yes, exactly. Yow. Barbara Vine's a good writer. J.K. Rowling and Robert Galbraith are equally flatlining. I know people are big fans. Good on you, but. Yeah, there's what's Saved by the Bell. That's another one that I've been watching. There's quite a good J.K. Rowling joke in that, which I won't spoil for you if you want to watch the new series of Saved by the Bell. I recommend it. It's funny. Harry Potter. Yes, you're right. You're right, Mike Thomas. It is, but I'm not going to cast aspersions on somebody that likes it, even though I'm like, really? I know some very good people that like it, that like The Potter of the Harry. It's alright. It's a bit basic, really. Is there a connection between horror and comedy? Oh, very surely so. Every horror film that I've been has been flipping hilarious. I don't know whether that's... I just assumed that they were supposed to be funny. I laughed my head off at Dark Rage when it was when I went to see the premiere. Apparently it wasn't supposed to be a horror comedy. And Exorcism, I'm sure, is very funny, although I haven't really wanted to watch it. But other people's horror comedies, yes. Horror and comedy are inextricably not Dr. Sleep didn't have many laughs. But generally, horror and comedy, yes, definitely. I mean, Midsummer, the funniest film ever, really. So funny. Laugh riot it was. I don't think it was meant to be. And also Hereditary. Anyway, I don't know if it was Heredity or Hereditary, but that was so funny, and you don't think it was meant to be, but I laughed and laughed and laughed. And even, Wicker Man, quite funny in parts. Jump screams that make you laugh. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of jump screams, but yeah, because I'm just like, Midsummer is interestingly funny, I think. Midsummer, funny film. Ha ha ha! Laugh out loud. I don't think it was meant to be. Maybe that was just me, but it was an interesting film. I think it was supposed to be funny. funny. Surely it was. Surely it was. And it's definitely Hereditary. I mean, there's some grim bits in that. There's a really, I mean, when I won't spoil a bit, but there's this bit where the girl in it and this happens and the thing happens and it's just like, wah! Funny though. Terrible, but funny. Yeah. Spoilers. See, spoilers. It's difficult not to spoil something. I got spoiled by something the other day. What was it? Spoiled. I definitely got spoiled something because of a cast. Oh, yes. Last night in Soho. I saw that last week. And somebody had looked up something to do with... Now, I don't even know by the saying a casting spoiler is a spoiler and it spoiled it and I guessed what was happening. Now, knowing there's a spoiler, knowing there's a twist is a spoiler, really. But definitely casting can be a spoiler. And there was a certain thing that somebody told me that they didn't know was going to be a spoiler. And I was like, as soon as I heard it, about a minute in, went, thanks for spoiling that. And they went, I didn't know that was going to be a spoiler. It's like, well, it definitely was, wasn't it? Definitely obvious spoiler. Obviously a spoiler. So I won't tell you what the spoiler is. I've probably given away so much and already spoiled it just by mentioning the fact that I was spoiled by it. Anyway, so I've consumed quite a lot of media this week. I come to realise this is what happens with not going out anywhere. I don't want to go out ever again, really, because my ankle still a little bit hurting from the last time I went out. Just shouldn't have done that then. It's just like, I thought it says about 5 or 6 weeks and it'll be better, and about 8 weeks in you can run, and it was 6 weeks last week and I was like, it's better, it's feeling much better, and then almost immediately I twisted it again and now it hurts. So I don't know what's happening there, and yes, I realise I should have gone to get help, but I'm beyond that at the moment. Far beyond. So yes, it's good to see you all, isn't it? It's good to see you all. That's a line from my very, very much my brilliant short film, I Was Never Young, also known as The Dinner Party, which is still available on YouTube. I got rid of the original version that I put up, which is, I don't know why I did that. Oh, I know, because I was entering a short film competition and it had to be made within a certain period of time, and I thought I'd cheat by taking off the beginning and end and going, look, it's new. It wasn't new. Anyway, does anybody watch that anymore? I Was Never Young. I should have left the original up, really. But I think it was the aspect ratio had gone wrong, because on the DVD version I've got of it, something went wrong with I could quite easily now, I've got the software to change the aspect ratio, but when I uploaded it first, I couldn't work it out, and there was a little code that you could put on YouTube to make the aspect ratio right, and I did that, but there they don't have that anymore, and so it's probably, even if it was there, it would be all squishy and weird. And I'm very pale in it, and I've got a terrible skin condition on my chin. So I look rubbish, but I am playing an immortal vampire-y dead person. So maybe the fact I look like death warmed up is a good thing. Who knows? Which films have I made? Well, I got an award for my very actually acclaimed short film, Hestel Virgin. I did not get an award at all, no award for I Was Never Young, but that's still there. There's a number of short films up there and quite a lot of other videos. In terms of films that I've been in that are feature films, I was in Patient 17, where I had one line and I was wandering around. I was more of a featured mainly I was the lighting person on that, but and then I did some extra work, and then they needed somebody to say something, so I said something, and I sat next to somebody that was in EastEnders at some point, I think, and I think I'm Facebook friends with them still, but I can't remember, and they had one line too, but I felt ever so, I am a featured person that's got a line, but they kept saying, you're doing the line the same, because we went through it a few times, and you're doing the line the same every time. I'm like, yeah, did you want me to do it differently? So maybe I was thinking they're praising me for doing it the same, but I think they were going, now we're going to cut that out. And I've never seen the film. I don't know whether it was on general release or anything, but I'm probably not properly in it anyway. if they probably cut my line out. But that also had what's her name? Waterman. Dennis Waterman's daughter. Can't remember her name. She was the main character, I think, in that. Yeah. And Dark Rage, which I have got words in. The original scene that we had in it got cut out because it was hilarious, too hilarious. And it was like, that's not appropriate in a horror movie. And so they reshot it, and I got a terrible rash from that. I got fake blood all over me. And I just had a rash for about 6 months afterwards. I do not know what, because they ran out of money at that point. It was a sort of reshoot. They ran out of money for real fake blood, and they made it out of things that they found in the kitchen. And I do not know what. And I had this terrible, like, old charity shop dress on, and I think it reacted with the fake blood that was made of, like, treacle and weirdness. And it was horrible. And they covered me with it too. It's like, there's too much. I don't know whether you need that much, but I did have a line in that, but because we had to improvise the scene and a sort of argument, and I had a line in that. And then also Exorcism, where I got lots of lines, and at the end I was like, oh, I'm still alive at the end, I could come back in the sequel. And they went, are you? And that was a bad mistake. Never mention that you could come back for the sequel. They really didn't like me on that. They wrote that part with my name, like I was supposed to play a character that had my actual name. And this character is a terrible character who is delusional and thinks she can play a teenager even though she's old enough, and then she gets cast as somebody's mother. It's like, yeah, I'm not that delusional. And that she thinks she's so amazing, and she's a comedian, and she thinks she's so great, and and everyone's saying, oh, she's not so much that, and she's ugly, and she's stupid, and she ends badly. And I was like, on reflection, I was like, I don't want to play a character like that with my name. I don't think so. And they're like, oh, you're such a diva. It's like, no, I don't think I am. Can I have a different? So now it's called Kate. The character's called Kate, even though it was originally called Elise, because I said, no, thank you. And I think they just turned against me for some reason. And I was like, well, why did you even write a part for me and ask me to be in your film when you clearly don't like me? And so they did not let me be back for the sequel, because there was no sequel. But also, they were like, that's a spoiler, probably. A spoiler, telling you a spoiler about it. But I haven't actually watched it. I know they were originally, the way we shot it was a pain in the bottom, because they tried to do it so that it had invisible cuts, so it looked like it was all in one, but there was like a bit before and a bit after. But the main part of the film was supposed to be like as if it was happening in real time. So we shot it like with really long takes, like Rope, you know, have you seen Rope? Or I think 1917 is a more recent example of that. Really long takes. And I think it probably didn't work, because I had to keep going again, because one thing goes wrong and you have to do it all over again. And I have not seen the finished film, but I have been given to understand that they've got interstitials, which are like little captions, because they had to cut it and there was nowhere for it to cut because it was such long takes. So I don't know much about that film, because I dread to think. And also I was just like, this is not going to be great, is it? But, you know, it might be. Some people, it was for a long time 1 star on Amazon. It was on Prime, you know, for free. You know, for free if you've got Amazon Prime for a while. But it's not. You have to pay for it now. I think it's $1.99, $2.99 if you want to have it forever. I don't know why you would, but I'm sure but it was 1 star for a long time, because I think somebody had taken against it so much that they bombarded it with reviews that were probably from the same person, I was told. And now it's gone up to 3 stars, which is quite extraordinary. 3 whole stars? It must be, 3 stars is practically, that's glowing, isn't it? Glowing praise. 3 stars. Wow. 3 stars is more than anything I've ever been in, but usually 1 star is my absolute top limit. If I saw 2 stars, I'd be like, what? 2 out of 5. 2 out of 10 would be like, wow, I got 2 whole stars out of 10. That's extraordinary. Thank you. Because I plot in 3 words for Exorcism Well, there's some people that are in a film and they go to a house and exorcism. Yeah, there you go. They go to a house to film a film based on an exorcism that happened a long time ago, and then ghosties and exorcism. Stuff like that. It's supernatural. La la la. Exorcism. That's what it's about. Exorcism. The clue's in the name. And I think they might have shot some more. You know, with what was it? The film Caligula, where they shot it. Helen Mirren and the guy that was Malcolm McDowell. Yeah, and they were in it, and then they reshot stuff after they finished doing their bits that was very exploitative and stuck it in. Well, I think that's what they might have done with Exorcism as well. Stuff that had nothing to do with the main plot, but sexed it up a little bit. Ooh, you're allowed to say that word. Sexed it up a little bit. Six. There you go. They 6 or 7'd it up a little bit. 7 or 8 or 9'd it up even. 10. Is The Shining a good film? Yeah, plot in 3 words, right? I see. Plot in 3 words for The Shining. Yeah, right, it goes mad. There's other things you could say. Ghosts in hotel. Spooky hotel. Ooh, that's 3 words for The Shining. There's all the spooky hotels. There's a lot of stuff about. I was thinking maybe top 10 spooky hotels. Da 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 da. Overlook. Da 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 da. The one in American Horror Story. Da 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 da. The one in Psycho. Da 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 da. I've run out of hotels. There's other hotels. There's top 3 hotels, really. I'm sure there's those. But most of my dreams that I have got corridors and hotels and spookiness everywhere. I stayed in a possibly haunted hotel once. We were going on. Well, it was the same night I went. Did I tell you about this? I went to Most Haunted Live. They were in Bewley, possibly. Can't remember, the Motor Museum. And we stayed in a hotel that wasn't Bewley overnight, and it felt like it was haunted. It definitely felt like it was. It was a little bit like the Overlook Hotel. It was scary as scary can be, and probably wasn't. But yes. Most Haunted Live. So, that's a TV appearance for me. The Most Haunted Live. I was in the audience behind somebody from Coronation Street. And the year after, people from my magazine, it was when I worked at a magazine, people from my magazine went there and took actual part in the Most Haunted Live. They were on camera talking about their experiences, and they were like, "Ooh, it's scary" and stuff. But the year that I went, we just sat there going, it's cold in here, isn't it? Well, they filmed it, and Derek Okora was in the front, and la-di-da-di-da. Not a very exciting experience. I did meet Derek Okora. He was don't speak ill of the people that have passed, but Derek Okora. So, hello. You just come just as I'm probably going in a minute. But hello. Yeah. Derek Okora, and the other one that I met was Colin Fry. Out of Derek Okora and Colin Fry, it's difficult to know which one was the most charlatan-y, but I have met them both, and I have talked to them both. I met Derek Okora twice, and I met Colin Fry once. And Colin Fry is the only one that did a psychic reading on me that was rubbish, but and Colin Fry is actually the only one that tried to get money out of me, but they've both passed on the other side. So probably, as you said, Mike Thomas, 3 watchers, when you meant people on YouTube, and I was like, maybe one of them's Derek Okora and one of them's Colin Fry, and the other one is, I don't know, who's somebody else. David Bowie. He's not a psychic, but it's like, anyway, psychics. I should do a whole thing about all the psychics I've met. There was one point when I was at work that I used to go to Mysteries in Covent Garden every other week to get a psychic reading, because I thought it was probably cheaper than therapy, and I just needed to talk to somebody. But I had quite my fill of psychics telling me stuff about my future and things that were to come, and I can't say that any of it came true or was in any way accurate. But it made me feel better for a bit until I realised how much money I spent on going to psychics. It all wound up, I've said this before, all wound up when I went with a friend one day, and they got their psychic reading, and I was just waiting there, and they'd forgotten about me, and I was like, oh. And the psychic came out, and he was like, oh, you're right. And I'm like, oh, I didn't get my reading. And it's like, and I usually get them, and I've got so many, and then it's not usually like this. And he's like, don't you think you've had enough psychic readings? And I'm like, yes. Yes, you're probably right. I've had enough. Had enough of these psychic readings. I'll have my money back. Thank you very much. And I never had a psychic reading ever again. Not that I believed a word of it. Just sort of amusement. You've got a little cassette tape. Even though cassette tapes, who can play cassette tapes? So I've got quite a lot of cassette tapes of the psychic readings. Like I had nothing to play them on at the time. Got nothing to play them on now. I probably, if I searched around enough, could find a. Yeah, I'm just like looking. Games. I probably got something I could play them on and go, oh, that never came true either. But I didn't. Anyway, that's me done. That's me for the week. I hope that I'm relatively clear with my new widescreen camera thing. I can't really tell anymore. But I'm here. And that's something. It didn't crash and burn. It didn't cut out. So that's something. That's more to do with the internet, my camera, but that's fine. Yes, exactly. Am I right? Am I right? You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. But I don't go to see them anymore because they're expensive and I don't want to. And I think they were about £30 for a pop, and you could get £30. You could get a reading for half an hour or whatever. And you go, oh, and you get a tape out of it, and you go, oh, that was an amusing way to spend half an hour. They're quite expensive, and I think they're probably more like £100 now. And I don't think that I would. I probably spent all my money on that at one point. Not a good idea. All right. Yeah, genre advert. Oh, Granada. Oh, well, I was Granada. It didn't pay well for me when I was on, what's it called? Brainiac. Pretending to be a orienteer. Is that what you call them? And I ran around. Can't do that now because my ankle's my ankle's bad. Yeah. So audio is a bit funny, is it? Oh, that's not good. Oh, well, that's a bit robotic sounding. Is it really? Well, that's not good. Oops. All right. Well, I'm going to have to sort that out. That's a shame because the audio is important. Well, oh, okay. Never mind. I've spent money on a thing that is pointless, is it? You can still tell what I'm saying, but I sound robotic. Well, that's no good, though, is it? Rubbish. No, I'm sad now. Okay, I'm going to go now and cry about my audio stream being wrong. Great to see me too. No, great to see you too. I'm sad now, though, because this doesn't work. All right, then. Bye-bye.